Hi, my name is Janet Skinner. Sometimes in life we need a purpose to continue. And back in the early 1990s, I was looking for a reason to live, if you like. Just happened by accident one day that I saw that Geebung station, which is in Queensland, was going to be demolished and replaced. So I decided to paint it. And during the 1990s, I painted 104 railway scenes, and that kept me going. As I sat on the platform and railway sidings, old people would come over and speak to me and tell me about life in the good old days. These were elderly people. It transpired that many of them were born in the early 1900s. I wrote down their names and phone numbers, and I went back and interviewed them. There's a series of some 35 railway tapes that I'm making of the interviews that I recorded in New South Wales and Queensland. I'm not a journalist. I've got no background training in interviewing, and I really hope you enjoy these films. I hope they bring laughter to many and insight into what life used to be like. And please bear with me. I had fun doing them, and I hope you have fun listening to them. Thank you so much. Of the 104 railway scenes that I painted, Dorrigo and my time spent there would be one of the most memorable experiences of my life. Nothing prepared me for the view of driving along and seeing all these steam locos lined up in the paddock and masses of carriages, and it was just absolutely amazing. I climbed over the fence and proceeded to walk around the paddock. The paddock was filled with cows. It was just amazing. But to see the steam locos parked nose to tail and the endless carriages, it was overwhelming. In this interview, recorded in 1997, I'm talking with Bob Ward, who worked out of Werris Creek. He was a fireman. He worked on steam locos and diesel trains that worked out in all directions. He worked on the Z-class locomotives at Everleigh. In this interview, he talks about his days firing on some of the locos, which are now residing at Dorrigo. I hope you enjoy. Bob, have you worked on any of these locos?
Yes, the Z-class at Everleigh, which is the main passenger train depot, locomotive depot, situated at Redfern.
So that's the loco here, the 192.
Yes, 1923. I worked on it in Darling Harbour Yard as a shunting unit in the 1964-66 era.
Right. And you actually drove that one in the picture?
Only fired it.
Right.
But unofficially we drove it.
Right, yes. Okay. Is that the one they refer to as... No, that's the Duchess, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, they refer to that as the Duchess at Dorrigo. Somewhere on...
Well, what Dorrigo's put on them and what the railway referred to them is two different things.
Right.
Yeah, Casey had his own ideas.
Right. Okay. Was this loco any different, say, was the 1923 any different than the number 5069?
Oh yes, a big difference. Yeah. Big difference.
Yeah.
One was just a small loco.
Which was this one? The one
1923. Built in approximately 1877, 1878, where 5069 was built in the 1910 era.
About 1910.
Yeah, it's actually...
I wonder if there's any way I can actually find out exactly when this particular one was built. Do you know that?
I have got it on record, but at the moment I haven't got it here. No, I've got the working history of the loco.
Right.
1922, 1920. It was numbered A142.
That's this one in the painting?
Yes.
Right.
And it was...
We're talking about the paint, the 1923, okay?
Yes, that's right. And it was renumbered in August 1924 to its current number, 1923. And it worked out of Everley Depot for shunting purposes at Alexandra Yard and Darling Harbour Yard, which it was attached to from June 1955. Prior to that, it was attached to Broadmeadow Depot for shunting the Newcastle area from 1945 approx right through to 1955.
Right. Okay, and can you see from that when it was actually built, did you say? Or not?
No, I can't.
No.
So I've got to go to another book, which
That's
I can't. I had it last night, but I just can't find it. I was looking for different things.
That's fine. Okay, well that's great.
Mm.
Any other information, Bob, that you think?
There was two types of cabs put onto these type of 19 classes or A93s. One was a cutaway cab, which is shown in the photograph, and the other one was a full-size sheet with a porthole like a ship for the window. Other than that, in the 1950s, they'll put electric lights into the cab on some of them, others didn't have any. That is still in the original condition as it was built in the 1870-78.
Yeah, great. Okay, can we move on to this one now? Bob?
5069.
Yes. That's now at Dorrigo. That's where it's finished up. And
Yes.
it's just standing there.
I can remember working on that locomotive at Port Waratah when I was there in the very early 1970s.
Right.
It is still in the original condition that was built in the early 1900s. Never had it superheated, never had electric lighting, and it still had its current old type tender, which carried 3,600 gallons of water and about 5 or 6 tonne of coal, which I'm not sure of. How to distinguish these engines was very easy, because on the cylinders they had what they call a tail, which poked out the end. Little round, I don't know if that's still got it or not. I can't see it there, but I'm not saying it has or not. See, as in the photo here.
Yes.
See it there?
Yes. Yes.
So it's that was a part of all steam engines had that in the early days of their lives when they were saturated. And when they were superheated, that was taken off. That engine worked around early days around New South Wales in areas bounded by Nowra, Albury, Dubbo, Parkes, Binaway, Narrabri, Moree, Wallangarra and through to Brisbane and Morelanbar. So they're extensive area as a workhorse.
Right.
5069 ended service there, as we stated, and it worked from 1945 through till its ended its operations in 1973. It was since 1945 allocated to Port Waratah Depot for hauling coal, non-air for hoppered trains from the collieries or East Greta Junction.
Would it ever have been used for passengers, or was it?
It could be used for passengers, but in the early days, but not so after, say, about 1920.
Right. No, that's good. I think that'll probably be sufficient on that. That's good. It's just a little bit of information for people. Just basic. This is actually, we're talking about the number 1042 as I refer to it. Probably not the correct way, but it's the most distinguishing.
Well, it's distinguishing for you.
The numbers, yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
It ended service as a 351, F351 class, working the Sydney metropolitan area, and they come into service in 1885-86. In 1900 or 1901, I think, there was a serious derailment at Sydenham where the engine went up the street and the train went along. And they were banned from working passenger trains after that, where they went into shunting, withdrawn from service or placed in as workshop shunters. 1042 I didn't have much to do with. The only time I ever seen it was when I was going past on the Newcastle Expresses when it was plotting around Cardiff workshops, where it remained till the end of work, placed on a plaque. Then I believe it's now at Maitland.
That's right. Would they have been that colour when they originally?
I do not know.
No.
So, 1042, for the time, it was a large engine when it was built.
Right.
But as the larger engines come in, that was displaced. According to the records, 1042 was at Cardiff in 1945 until the end of service.
Right.
Plotting, pulling big.
I wonder if there's any way I can find out what the original colour was of them.
Most probably, but it's very hard to take. I'd say the State Rail Archives in Sydney.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
But engines were painted for their own things in workshops, services.
Yes. I would imagine they'd have all been black to start off with, wouldn't you? I would imagine. Well, you just don't know.
Well, in the 1930s, 1940s, engines were painted red, blue, green.
Yeah.